evening, everybody. How are you? It's another evening here with me for the You Are Able video series. My name is Wanamakok, and I'm your host for tonight. Thank you so much once again for joining. I love Thursday nights because Thursdays we have a lot more people coming in. Oh, and my guest is already in. That's perfect. Excellent. I'm waiting for my guest. His name is Henon Vincent to come and join in while everybody is coming in. Hi.
Hello, Abel.
How are you?
Very fine. How about yourself?
I'm okay today. I'm looking forward to having you teach me a lot about your happiness. Today is not my happiest day, but
Okay.
I think maybe that's why you are my guest tonight because you have something to teach me, and that's the reason why I'm doing these things is because hello,
Are you
LOL.
sure? Are you sure you didn't prepare your mind to be unhappy today so that you would have extra purpose to talk to me tonight?
No, I woke up like perfectly fine, and then yeah, and then things happened, and then I just kind of
Okay.
like went through this wave of emotions. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess it's a perfect time for me
Okay.
to do this. But anyways, as people are coming in and out and things like that, please let me introduce myself, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. Yeah. I'm Able, and I created the You Are Able video series in March. Yeah. Oh my God, it seems like a long time already. In
Mm-hmm.
March, and most of the people that I invite are people who I have admiration for. So people who have something that they can share. Hi, Barbara. People who have something that they can share to help give us inspiration, uplifting, and usually on a wellness or coaching perspective. And Vincent is an old friend of mine who I met more than 10 years ago, and he is, hi Barbara, and he's somebody who I think you're like a healer. I mean, to me, you're like a healer. You're like a coach, but I really think you should approach that career. I'm serious. You should do that because I really think that that is like your path. But let me allow you to introduce yourself better because the topic you're talking about tonight is quite serious. And when I read your bio, I was asking myself, why you complain, Abel? Why would you ever complain? If there's somebody like Vincent who can inspire you. So please introduce yourself, Vincent.
All right. So I'm Vincent. I was born in France in a very dysfunctional family where happiness was not the main quality developed.
Mm,
And from early age, I started to suppress myself from living. So I started to suppress my feelings, my thoughts, because nothing that was meeting in the field of my emotions, of my thoughts, was was happy.
right.
So I didn't want to feel anything. I didn't want to think anything. I developed some very harmful patterns and something that would really lead me down more suffering.
Mm,
And when I came to teenagehood, things didn't go better. And but an episode happened that made it clear for everybody that something was wrong. And this is where I had the first assessment from psychologists, psychiatrists, telling me that I was not just having a teenagehood episode like I was claiming, but that there was something more serious and that I was depressed and they
mm.
diagnosed depression from a very early age. That maybe I was at 7, 8, 9 when I started to feel depressed.
Wow.
Um,
Really
yeah,
early. Oh
well,
my.
yes. Well, that's an assessment with the doctor. Let's say even if uh, even if uh, you might not agree, some people might not agree with the depression being so early. At least like we can acknowledge. I mean, from the people who know me, who witnessed who I was, who went to school with me, something was definitely really wrong.
Mm,
When I learned that I had that I I had a disease, I was kind of relieved because I had the thought, the hope that actually this wasn't who I was. That was
Mm.
just me being sick.
You
So
what? Sorry?
actually, that was me being sick. That was me having a sickness
Uh-huh.
that could be treated. So it
Right.
wasn't my nature. It wasn't my structure. And it
Mm-hmm.
took a very, very long time to recover after years and years of, once again, harmful habits from the mind, from everything. Learn
Right.
how to transform it.
Right.
And that brought me to having a healthier relationship with myself years after years.
How long did it, I mean, how long, when did you think you started to have a healthier mental pattern? How
I
old?
think that the really healthier mental pattern, if I'm being completely honest, I think it came about 5 years ago because I consider it to be really healthy at the
Right.
moment where the habit to say, oh, um, I'm having harmful thoughts and suicidal thoughts, like suicide would be a solution. It was completely clear from the option 5 years ago. Until then, it would still have been an option in my mind as a refuge option. Yeah.
Wow.
So that leads to terrible things, including to bond with people because I'm sharing that because maybe some people around who might listen to this or see this video later on
Yeah.
might maybe relate to it. Um,
Yeah.
but for example, it's you feel you add many negative feelings on a negative experience. So you feed negativity with negativity. It's a really terrible habit for yourself. So you cannot, for example, I felt that I was a fraud with people because I could be very smiling and look happy, and they will appreciate my company. When inside me, I still have this kind of dark stain in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like, yeah, you see me happy and funny, but actually, I'm lying to you right now because when I will start to feel bad, I will start to feel so bad that I might just disappear. I might just end myself. So
Huh.
that was very heavy processes, very heavy patterns to turn around.
Well, I wanted to deviate because my neighbor just next door here, he
Hmm.
hung himself.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, he hung himself, and unfortunately, I saw it. I mean, I saw him after he died because there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of ambulances in front of my house,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a huge shock because I guess my mind never expected to see dead people, a dead person. And I
Okay.
know him. I mean, we're not best of friends, but we are friends. We are neighbors. And I did see him once drinking beer in the morning after I come back from yoga, which is maybe about 10:30. And I always know that if people drink beer in the morning, with a certain look on their face, they're either alcoholics or they're depressed. But that was just my immediate intuition that I thought there was
Mm-hmm.
something wrong with him. But because I don't know him that well, I did not want to intrude and just go and be like, hey, you want to talk to me? Or, because he looked like he was kind of like in his own world. And then that happened. So it's very, very tragic that we allow our own thoughts and our own minds to take us to a place that is so dark and so deep that we feel that because death is supposed to be a natural thing. I feel it's supposed to be a natural thing. But if you take your own life, that is unnatural. And I think that is a very, very bad decision. But sometimes, I
Okay.
guess that obviously to a lot of people, because I never have suicidal thoughts. ever in my life. So I wouldn't understand, anyways, what it's like to be in
Well,
space. Yeah.
mm, actually, we are very complicated animals, so
Mm.
nature doesn't always set it for us, and that allows us to be very creative, but sometimes we're not creative for our own good. So, and
Right.
we do not, sometimes people who are depressed, having suicidal thoughts, it's just that they do not know better. They do not know how to break the process, just
Right.
to turn it around and say that, wait a second, I'm in a cycle of suffering. The
Right.
habit I'm having, enforcing this suffering.
Hmm.
What can I do just to break it out? Very easy steps. How can I do?
Right. So please let me ask, this question now, since you told us that, you have these thoughts. Let me ask you, what do you think is your calling? Like, why do you think you have this life? Let's say, why do you think you have this life and that you have, you know, so much suffering since you were young? What do you feel might be your purpose or your reason for living?
Okay. Well, I think I have exactly the same purpose as everybody else, which
Yeah.
is to learn how to be happy no matter
Uh-huh.
what.
Okay.
Learn about how to be truly happy no matter what.
Okay.
So this, and the second thing is, um, there's some tricky parts about it, but in the end, I believe that the beauty of life lies in the transformation that we can witness. If we
Transform.
have, yes, if we have no challenges, if we have nothing to turn around, if we have nothing to transform from shadow to light, we have pretty much not lived, I think. Or when
Yeah.
you're able to do that, when you are really able to turn everything that's dark and heavy into something lightful, it's
Hmm.
something tremendously beautiful to witness. And you can see that the transformation in people also when they have their own beliefs that are biased or come from a very harmful legacy from their parents or something, repeated patterns, and then they realize they can break it. And you can see their life transform. And this is beautiful. This is the bliss. This is why we're here as persons. This is also why we have egos, because
Mm.
we need to feel our experience uh, individually before
Uh-huh.
we can connect to everything else and anyone else. So
Oh,
this is why here
very.
challenges. Yeah.
I was asking, I remember last year, it was in March. Yeah. March 2019. I don't know why I remember this, but I was asking so many questions like, why is there duality in the world? Why do we have to suffer? Why do we have to have an ego? Why do we have to be imperfect? Why do we have to learn from emotions? Like, I was asking all these questions last
Mm-hmm.
year. And right now, I feel like I'm going through a transformation, and a
Mm-hmm.
transformation that makes me feel very uncomfortable because my life has been, obviously there are always changes, but
Uh-huh.
it's relatively stable. I'm with my parents since
Yes.
I was young,
Yes.
and then I
The
got married,
devil. The devil, you know. Hmm.
and that happened with my husband for a long time,
Uh-huh.
since 21. So like my life is very stable and it's not chaotic and it's not like upside down. And
Yes.
like this quarantine period, I feel this quarantine period affecting a lot of people, not just myself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
affecting a lot of people. When I talk to different people are saying, I'm going through a transformation, things are changing, blah blah blah, and it seems like it's a global thing right
Yes, it
now.
is.
Yeah. Why do you think it is? Like, is it forcing us to raise our consciousness? Why do you think that is? I know this is outside of our
It
questions.
cannot. It cannot force you to go there, but I think that the situation we've had now is a moment of truth.
Mm.
And we used to run. Okay, I'm not saying it's a good thing, or but it depends what you do of it. And I think that like I like I ever said, when you have times of very high pressure and heat, there are things that are just that turn into complete ashes, and
Mm-hmm.
things that turn into diamonds. Whatever you have realized about your life right now, it's a
Right.
diamond. So whether it is something you think right now is a weakness or a strength, right now this is your realization, and this is a gift. This is actually a gift. This is a truth about yourself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if that truth is like, oh my God, I'm not on the right place in my life, it is nothing to plunder yourself about. Just be like, okay, cool. This is a feedback. I'm not at the right place. How do I get to the right place now?
Mm-hmm.
And you just go on with that.
Right. How do you deal with, because the thing that I have an issue with, I know I'm not asking you your third question. Sorry about that.
No, no worries.
I'm getting selfish now because I have these questions in my head that I wanted to ask you. Uh, One thing that I deal with that I'm still learning about is being put into a box, you know, like cultural
Uh-huh.
expectations, society expectations, expectations of the roles that you play in your life, like being a
Mm-hmm.
mom, being a wife, um, being a career woman, or, you know, whatever role that you play. I,
Wow.
I feel like I have been put in a box and I have allowed it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And because of this transformation, I feel scared of the judgments from the people closest to me. What are they going to think of me? I have been called selfish lately, and I hate hearing that word because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
selfish at all. I have,
Yes, it's
I'm
very
like,
paradoxical, right? It's
huh?
very paradoxical. It's a complete paradox.
Paradox.
Because in a way it feels like you did all that just to please other people, and now these other people that are outside you just tell you that you're selfish, when the way you experience it, it's more likely that you feel that you have sacrificed so much
Yeah,
without even asking yourself what you wanted. Okay,
right.
is there something more you want to add to this?
Like, how do you deal with that? How do you, I mean, like,
Okay.
of course, you can just say, I don't give a shit, like, I don't care. But deep down inside, I care.
Uh-huh.
I'm a female. I'm an
Okay.
emotional being. I'm sensitive. I have always been sensitive to people's needs, to helping others, and
Mm-hmm.
I cannot just like put on my American hat, and be like, I don't give a shit what you think. Like I can't just do that. I can't, and it wouldn't be true, to do that. I still care. I care about what people think of me, but
I understand.
I hate being called selfish. I really hate it because I know that is maybe the last adjective that you can use to describe me because I know myself. But how do you deal with all the people that are around you and being able to just go about your own way in an emotional way, like because we're talking, only emotions right now. How do you deal with that?
Well, I believe the main thing about all this is the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What is the quality of the relationship with the world around you? What is it built on?
Mm-hmm.
But the most important relationship that you need to have, and that you have for your whole life, is with yourself. So how much do you listen to yourself?
Yeah.
To tell
Like,
you one example,
well, like never, because when I listen to myself and I don't do what others want me to do, I get shit. That's what happens. I get yelled at,
okay,
I get reprimanded, I get manipulated, and I allow it. So,
okay, I
you know,
will be very straightforward with you. I will cut it very to the chase. You are the only person that really matters in your life. You are your own soulmate. We have only one soulmate. It's not somebody outsourced. It's ourselves. We
uh-huh.
are our soulmate. our relationship, when we come to this word, our relationship with our soul can be a little bit difficult or broken. This is the path we need to clear, because this is the path that leads us to selfless happiness and a happy state, and how also you can inspire and provide it around you. If you don't give to yourself, it will be very difficult to give to others. So
Well,
if you don't respect yourself, if you don't listen to yourself, nobody will listen to you. Now,
yeah, I think I don't even know how many people have said that to me already recently. I think like so many people have said that to me recently, and they keep kind of telling me, because like my mind would be like, do it your way, Abel, do it your way. And then I would hear like another side of me that would be like, oh, don't be selfish, Abel, don't be selfish, do it the old way, do it the way that you have always done, you know.
yes, because it brings comfort. Even if in the end you're gonna end in suffering. This kind of
I am suffering.
um,
I am
this
suffering
kind of
right now. I'm not going into suffering. I am
yeah.
suffering.
So next time you
Yeah.
see the cycle repeat, foresee it. Just take a moment, pause, visualize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the way I go usually.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened last time? This went on, this went on, this went on. Results, I suffered.
Yeah.
So what is what is so dangerous for you just to dare being happy,
Right.
or just dare another thing? Don't take yourself too seriously. Take yourself as an experiment. Just put some distance with yourself and see yourself acting. Say, okay,
Somebody
just for
else.
the sake of it.
Oh my gosh. Somebody else
Sorry,
said that too. There was another person who said this exact same thing too. Yeah.
don't take
Yeah.
yourself too seriously. But in another hand, really respect yourself. So
Yeah.
one way also maybe to clear what you want, because people always say, I need to know what I want. That's
Mm.
that's one aspect of the answer.
Okay.
What you want, even a dog can know what it wants.
Mm.
But the question that we as humans might uh, be be able to answer, and actually should answer also, is why do I want it? And it's
Mm.
the why in the outsource and the why in the insource. The why in the outsource is the result. It means, yes, I want that because it will provide me this and so on. For example, I want to have money so that I get freedom. This is the outsourcing why. And it's valid. It's valid. But
Mm-hmm.
importantly, what is the insourcing why?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that craving, that want, come from inside yourself? What is
Mm.
the part of it? Is it the part of it that is maybe shared, wants to be comforted in its own way? Is it your ego? Is it
Mm-hmm.
a part of you that makes you happy usually?
Right.
Is that this one? You need to know where it comes from, and you need to be 100% honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Now, through what you're saying, uh, through what you're saying, it you are really wanting apparently to make other people uh, happy, and but you cannot do that if you're not happy by yourself. You really need to know that happiness doesn't come by complying to others' um expectations being fulfilled. And you have to know, and it's very important, that these people might not even understand their own why they want you to behave like that.
Because I relieve their suffering.
Exactly.
Suck.
You
I
are
I I suck
perpetuating a
negativity.
legacy.
I pick up their negativity and I take it away from them, and they feel better when I'm around. That's
They
why
don't.
they.
They don't. You know, you're not taking it away from them, because actually the solution they are fine is just a painkiller. When the effect wears off, they need the other painkiller, and it kills their pain for a while. But you are the one taking all the toll,
Yeah.
because, as you
Exactly.
said very clearly, it's also
Exactly.
because you accept it in a way, because
Yeah.
you do not reconsider the process.
Yeah.
Now, to in the end, this legacy of behavior
Mm-hmm.
has to be changed. So once
Has to work.
again, has to be changed. It has to be turned around.
Yeah.
Then two things will happen, Abel, but you really need to understand that you are the most important person in your life. Okay? I need to tell you that if you go that way, listening to
I just
yourself,
realized that now. Like I seriously just realized that now that I am the most important person in my life. I
yeah,
serious.
and you see with the
Just I
time,
just realized that just like within the past few months because I always feel like I am not as important as other people that I love, because
so
they
and
always come
maybe
first. They always come
and
first in
maybe
my life.
yes, and maybe
So
that's why also you want to make them come first in your life because you want the importance about yourself come from their eyes, not yours. It's a comfort also, but it's
it,
not the right way to do it.
no, for me is to be loved, to feel that I am loved. That
Only
was
you.
that was the conditioning that I learned when I was young. Is that I wasn't wanted when I was very, very little. I just recently did hypnosis, and I just learned a whole bunch of stuff about myself. And I learned a lot of things about why I thought why I was thinking the things that I think now, because
Mm-hmm.
they were already conditioned into me,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand everything since a baby, since very, very young, even maybe even in my mom's stomach. I already know. But obviously I don't remember them until just recently. So now I'm starting to understand, why I think what I
Yes.
think. And I wanted to ask you the third question before I forget, because this is a very important question. Um, and I said this already, because of this quarantine period, it made many, many people go very deep inside to look
Mm-hmm.
within. What is your wisdom on how to be, a happy learner? Because what you said is that we are all actually, our jobs are to be happy learners. We're learning how to be
Mm-hmm.
happier, learning to be at peace with ourselves. So what is your wisdom on that?
My wisdom on that. Mm,
Or
well,
just
at
comment?
least uh, some comments that, like I said, high pressure, high temperature. You get your diamond. You get your realization. You get what is really indestructible.
Mm,
So act on it because maybe right now you have nothing better to do. The only person who can act on it is yourself. Nobody
yeah,
will do it for you.
yes.
So just listen to that. Make a first step towards this calling, towards this realization to change it. This very clear perception about yourself. Maybe it's something you've been running away from all your life, and not that you cannot be distracted, not that what you believe was your purpose has disappeared, can be your job, whatever. Not that you cannot kind of find refuge into it. You have to address it frontally, and this is your truth. So if you don't like the relationship you have with this realization, if it's a negative feedback, how do you make it positive? How are you going to act on it?
Hmm.
And once again, there is nothing to be afraid of because, first of all, we're humans. We just live through successions of moments. So moments are just the blink of an eye, the time of an inhalation, exhalation, time of a day, a week, and sometimes the moment is a lifetime.
Hmm.
So you can adjust. If the previous moment was not satisfying, just act differently for the next moment that resemble it. So that the lesson you've learned from the previous moment, you can try something different. You're here to try. You're not gonna put yourself in uh, willful dangerous situation. Nobody can really blame you for not trying to be happier. and you have nothing better to do. And as long as you can learn new things, such as, I don't know, tying your shoelaces or something. If you're able to tie your shoelaces, you're able to learn, or just to process new thinking, you're able to learn. You don't have to make it fast, just do it. But also, what I believe with what happened with the COVID is the quarantine and all the life being so disturbed. Um, if if you if your status, your life as it was, has been so much disturbed, it was not meant to stand pressure and heat. So it means it was not fit to survive. So we're not animals. So I'm not talking about, because if we're animals and we're in the jungle, if we're not fit to survive, it means we've been eaten by something else and we died. That doesn't mean that because we're humans. It means
Right.
that the state we we are, the state we built, was not
Uh,
meant to survive high pressure. So maybe it was not something that necessary and that important to us. So that brings to something that can really go through the testimony of times and the test of time and very hard times. Maybe what is your passion? What makes you live? What would you do if nobody paid you for it? If you were not paid to do a job, but you still wanted to do it, what would you do? If you can think about something that just the task in itself is the reward, go for it. Because if you, once again, insource it, don't outsource it. Whatever you do, come to the insource, not to the outsource. If you're expecting a salary to be the reward, it's outsourcing it
yes.
way too far. But if
Yes.
while you're doing the task of your job, you're already getting the reward from it because it's building your skills, it's building what you love, it's giving you self pleasure, it brings
Yes.
pleasure to other people,
Yes.
then the job is already done. Of course, you need the salary too,
Yeah.
but whatever
Like,
happens, you're already building yourself.
yeah, like this. I'm happy doing this. And I'm always learning something new. And I love talking to people, whether there are people joining us or not. If there's people joining, great, of course. But if there's not, I'm learning something and you're learning something. And I feel like very happy. I feel a lot happier each time after I do this, even though sometimes it's not easy, to continue something. But I really,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Everything has to come from in here first, and then anything outside will come later anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and there is also a way once you learn how to want things. So, sorry, I will just go back to the first topic that was a little bit about depression. Um, Depression really can mess up your ideas of want. Um, I've ever heard one way to perceive depression is that in your life you have it. When you're depressed, it means that at a point in your life you have too much things that you don't want,
Yeah.
and you are missing too much things that you want, and you don't know how to do. You don't know how to act on it. So once again, if you can heal your relationship to wanting something, then things get better. And for that, there is a process. Like I said, what you want is one question to ask yourself. But why you want it is another very important question, both to the outsource and the insource. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you can insource it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be happy with your job, insource the reward. Don't outsource it necessarily and only to the salary or benefits or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You want a soulmate? Don't outsource it. You are your own soulmate. You are born with that soul,
That's the
and you
first
are meant.
time I heard that. Thank you very much. I am
You
my
are
own.
your own soulmate. Yes, you don't have any soulmate outside. That's a
Uh-huh.
misconception. You are your own soulmate. You
Uh-huh.
are the one you must have a good relationship with. You are the one who's going to stick with you all your life. You were born with it. You tag along yourself. But sometimes the path to our soul, to our happiness, to our connection, to everything is a little bit disturbed and broken. This is also why we're here, because we need to sometimes fix that. And once again, the final goal is to be happy no matter what.
Right. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. I think I need to have a separate phone chat with you later.
Always
But
pleasure.
yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's already 8:33. I just want to ask if anybody has any questions for Vincent or myself on, the topic of the happiness learner. Just let me recap a little bit. Vincent has been struggling. He's been very, very honest, struggling with suicidal thoughts since he was 7 because of his the dynamics of his family relationship and things like that. But he has learned over time how to observe his own thoughts and also to create habits of how to not take yourself too seriously. Like you said to me, don't take yourself too seriously because you are just an actor or an actress playing a role. And,
Let's say an experiment. You're
yeah,
your own subject of your own test subject. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we are our own soulmates. We are our own best friends, and we are the one who have to live with ourselves our whole lives. So we need to. Does he have a book? Barbara asked.
No. So Barbara, and not La 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 6000, but all right. I don't have a book. So maybe I'm a
Maybe.
bit of an anomaly in in Abel's program. Before Abel asked me to make this conversation, I was wondering if I should write one, and since he asked me to have the conversation, I was wondering what do I have to say, and I started to write, and I might have a book in the future.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna be a big book, but
Yeah. Well, I'll keep you in mind for other future projects that I'm going to do because obviously I'm very creative and I love to continue, doing things creatively. But you are to me a healer. You are
okay.
very, very wise. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
No,
You have
I'm
something. You
glad you
have
said that.
something that you need to share. You have gifts that you need to share with others. Of course, it's not easy to start a new career. I mean, it's never easy, but you should pursue that. Maybe the book is a initiative. Like Barbara's writing a book, finishing
Okay.
soon. So maybe you can ask her for some advice. And I have a lot of friends who are authors as well, like Kitty. So you can ask her as well, who has books on Amazon and on Barnes and Nobles. But
Mhm.
you definitely have a lot to share, and your story is very interesting. And yeah, yeah, you
Thank
teach
you.
me, you teach me a lot of things, ideas on how to think that I never really thought about before. So I'm very appreciative of your guidance. So thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time. Any
But
other
thank you very much.
anything else you
Yeah.
want to say, Vincent?
Just maybe one thing, considering the relationship you might have, and we all have a tendency also to try to please others and try to fit their expectations to the point where we cannot hardly hear what is our own inner voice, and everything become outsourced. It's got some comfort. It's got some comfort, but once again, it's a cycle, suffering, repeating. It's important to break the pattern. Now, I would like to predict two things if you break the pattern. Phase one, people around you who are used to you or used to us um, complying to their desire will be increasingly disappointed in us.
In what?
Increasingly disappointed in us or in
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Okay,
Of
that's
course.
phase one. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's how. Phase two, they are most likely, not a promise, but they are most likely, with time, with the necessary time gap, to be indefinitely grateful that we did.
Why?
Especially if we're talking about our parents. Because before we respect ourselves and everything, it's in some cases we are just repeating patterns from our parents that are already making them suffer.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing they want is for us to break it, because they don't know better. They think that there is only one way to make it feel better, just to enforce it. Actually, it's to enforce the pattern.
Enforce.
So repeat it. Yes, repeat it, comply to it.
Right.
But
Right.
actually, the way I see it, it's more likely that we are their chance to show them, by being our own example of happiness, that it doesn't have to be this way. So at some point, it's very important that you start to make yourself really happy, truly happy, by asking yourself the right question about what you want, why you want it. So be very clear with yourself. Start to make yourself truly happy through that. Be your own example, and you will not need to outsource any esteem of yourself to others. And in the end, people can only acknowledge, especially if they truly love you,
Mm-hmm.
not because you have a purpose or anything, just as a person. They will love you for that. They will see that, and they can only acknowledge that, and they will see, if you did it, so can they.
Mm.
Because maybe the only thing they are waiting for is for you to disappoint them and show them that you can be happy on your own, and so can we all.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting thoughts. Oh wow, gosh. Okay, I have my answer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's already 8:40. Barbara wants to connect with you because she maybe wants
With
to
pleasure.
do something with you for interview or something for her book, so I would do that. But
With great
thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think you just put me from the present moment's misery gap. You just put me into a future gap of where is my happiness going to be,
Ah,
but obviously this is my decision. It's not your responsibility, so don't worry. It's
exactly.
always I do not blame people for my decisions, at least present moment anyways, not when I was younger. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and thank you to everybody who came to watch. And I
Yes,
will
thank you.
edit this. I will edit this video, and I'll send you the link when it's ready. Yeah.
Okay. And anybody who wants to have my contact, ask questions, text contact, whatever, I'm very open to it. It can be a conversation
Excellent.
like that. It's very lovely. So yeah.
Excellent. I hope you had a good time, and good luck with your endeavors, because now you have a blank sheet of paper and you can do whatever you want, just like your art.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's very exciting. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, and I will talk with you again soon, okay?
Very good. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much, Evo.
Thanks,
Have a good
Vincent.
evening.